Hey, I'm back. I'm Coach T. This is my C Sharp in a year video diary. It's been like 2 weeks since I updated the diary, and that's because kind of life got really, really, really busy all at once. This is the busiest time of year at work as we prepare the current set for the next year's set. And I have to do a lot of data analysis kind of on the fly. I have to make presentations. I have to make sure everybody's set up and situated for their next caseload. So that was really busy. And then also, after work, I was effectively working another part time to full time job working on this house renovation project. I had the help of my dad as like the project leader, and I had the help of my friends to make it cost effective and quick, but there's only so many hours in a day when everybody's already beaten ground down. So it just took a lot of time, and I didn't have the physical or the mental energy to do a whole lot of coding, which is kind of the way that it is. But we're all okay, more or less. Um, Except the one guy, but he'll be okay. And the renovation looks great, and we're all done. So everything's calming down. The year for me is coming down to the end. Um, Projects around my property are coming down to an end, just kind of down to maintaining the garden and growing some grass. So easy stuff. But anyway, so for those 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, I didn't do a lot of coding. What I did start doing is I started looking at Clean Code by Uncle Bob. So, clean coding architecture, or whatever it's called, Clean Code. I got a 2 pack. It's got the original Clean Code book, and then it's got something about architecture as well. And that's been really, really interesting because it's kind of a high level flyby of a lot of coding practices that I had been taught but did not necessarily understand. And so now I'm getting a specific explanation about why I should format this way, why I should avoid comments when better naming is possible, or why I should do particular things. I'm only about a third of the way through it. So I'll review that book at some point. I probably am not going to have anything new to add to all of the many other reviews, but for an intermediate coder, and I'm an intermediate coder. It's very instructive, and I've been putting it into practice. So over the last couple weeks, I've really been evaluating that twin stick shooter idea, and it's a lot of fun. It's still something that I want to do, but it's not something I want to focus on right now. I'm enjoying doing the state machines. I'm enjoying doing a lot of input practice. So what we've decided to do is pivot. I started another project, this time with a couple extra eyes on it just to keep me on track. And that's been going really well so far. I'll show off a little bit of what we're doing, but it's a little RTS. So having worked on Vaughn Comes Home for the Game Jam, I saw the value of a small scope, limited, quick to produce project. And so that's largely what I'm doing here. I'm not trying to rush it in a month or 2 months or 3 months, but I'm really trying to nail a couple of small things, and then I can evaluate and go forward. And this time I've got a couple of different people that are going to look at it, play it, test it, see if it doesn't fit. I've already gotten some valuable feedback just from talking about it with people. So let's transition over. I'll give you a look at what this thing looks like. We've got just a plane here. That's it. So what I'm doing is I'm applying the logic that I learned in the twin stick games and also Vaughn Comes Home to something like a little RTS where you only control, for now, 3 people, 3 characters. Not working with animation because almost all of my, 12 to 15 hours so far has been exploring how can I control the camera, how can I control selection, how do I manage different types of input to do different things. So for this, I have a borrowed PlayStation controller that I'm going to connect here in a second, and I'm also using just a trackpad to make all of this work. So no mouse, just a trackpad and a gamepad. So when I play, a couple of things are true right away. First of all, I can mouse pan, and let's play this thing maximized just so you're not squinting. We can mouse pan, sort of. Come on. Ooh, it doesn't like that. Hold on. There we go. So that's an area that I have to improve here. Is the Mac sometimes struggles with this. In build mode, I can only go up because you're able to hit the mouse up here. But it's something that's a work in progress. I can hit tab to cycle linearly between my units, or I can hit 1, 2, or 3 to get just to the guy that I want. I can also then roll off of them, and I can snap back to them. Now, if you've got really good eyes, you might be able to see that he's right in there. It doesn't actually hide this yet. That's something I'm going to work on, because if I, whoops, need a current selection. Oh, it's not working. What's going on? No object selected. Mo, come on, Mo. There we go. Okay, so if I hike onto Mo, you can see it's dragging behind him. So I need to fix that. I need to turn the ball off. If I turn on the gamepad, which I need to remember how to do. There we go. Okay, so it should not show the mouse right now. It just fired an event that's inappropriate. But now I'm using just the gamepad, and I can hit A to select Larry, and I can trigger to move Larry. I can cycle to Curly. Curly's my current selection, and I want Curly to come over here. And I can cycle to Mo, and I can send Mo over here, but actually I want Mo to go over here. So that is kind of the size of it. It's a lot of selection logic right now. I'm just trying to understand how to write a system that is intuitive for the user to use rather than intuitive for me to write. I'm trying to put into play all of Uncle Bob's clean code rules, and keeping this thing really, really extensible and flexible. So I'm doing things like the observer pattern, right? There's the input readers firing a lot of events. I'm doing some selections with some simple casing. I'm doing some ray casting. Let's see if we can find it. There it is. Ray casting, right? This is a long method. I'm going to have to deal with this at some point. But I have very few scripts right now. I've got the camera manager, which does nothing. Camera targeter is also pretty interesting because I had to write my own solution here to handling movement. Looks like this. You're going to handle the mouse scroll. If we look at handle mouse scroll, it checks to see if the input position is too high. This is where that glitch is coming from with not being able to scroll over the boundaries. Something I discovered that's unique to the Mac, I think. So I'll be able to deal with that. I already know how to deal with it. So if nothing there, right, if none of this is true, then it just skips it, moves on to handling new inputs from the mouse or from the controller. And if none of that is true, then it will handle free movement or focus movement, where it just follows along whatever the current focus is. I don't know what that is. So camera targeter, it's kind of a work in progress as we go, but it fluidly works the way that at least I would intuit a game like this should work. The selector is a long script. Honestly, it could be a couple different classes. I just haven't figured out exactly how to break them up yet. Pause for iced coffee sip. But what we've got is firing the control scheme. It's checking this, and then I'm going to do some work on what it does. Like I want to display a custom cursor at some point, etc. Commanding the selected object. Let's see. Set selection to null, right? So that's handling what is currently being selected. We did have a list at some point of multiple selections, but I think I've pulled that out for now. Cycling through units, that was a neat little algorithm to write. Basically, I had to figure out how to fluidly go from 3 to 1 or from 1 to 3. Wasn't that hard. This could probably be done better, but it works. And then it selects a unit. So I'm using selectable objects as an interface in this case, so it never interacts with the editor. It's only in code does it care about this, but it's very handy as an interface. Doesn't have a whole lot going on. I'm going to extend this over time, but largely the code itself so far is pretty simple, and the result is a snappy, responsive little micro RTS where you can't do anything except hang out with Mo, Larry, and Curly. So that's it. I'm going to get going because I actually want to work on this instead of just talk about it. But pardon me for being absent for 2 weeks. Shouldn't happen again, at least not for a while. I know it was a little spotty there, but when it rains, it pours. So That said, tell me about your current project. What are you trying to learn down in the code below? Did you start something new recently? Are you planning to start something recently? Is there something that you really want to get into and you just don't even know how to start? Tell me about it down below. I would love to hear what people are working on. All right, with that said, I'm Coach T. If you like the honest learning process videos, subscribe. I'm going to do some C# tutorial stuff here in the next month, I think. And I'll keep showing off project updates up until I have something worthy of a real dev diary, I think, whatever that is. All right, let's go code. See you next week.